without any scientific or nutritional knowledge, you have the absolute power to improve your health and your life with the assistance of no one. Happy wendwellness. That's exactly what I want to talk about today. Do I need to read all these articles? Do I need to know what all these supplements do? Do I need to know what are the powerful antioxidants we find in all these foods? Do I need to know what the hell anthocyanins are? Do I need to know biochemical reactions? You do not. What you do need to know is that our ancestors evolutionarily lived very differently from us. We've been corrupted by this world today. And about 70% of the foods, for example, that we find in grocery stores are highly processed. And in fact, many of the ingredients aren't even really food, right? So thanks guys for tuning in. We'll get to you in a minute. So what are some basic rules that I can follow to live a better life? Here we go. 1, when did our ancestors eat? When they found food. How did our ancestors find food? They went and found it. That means they either hunted or foraged for fruits and vegetables. They fished. They did things that required energy expenditure to attain the food. 1. So walk to the grocery store. Yeah, I'm just kidding. You can if you want. It's not that far. 1. 2, what types of foods were they? They were only foods you find in nature. If you can't find it in nature, you probably shouldn't be eating it. It's probably not going to do great things for your organ function and overall physiological functioning and health in general, right? Throwing some science words we're not even meaning to. But the point is, if you can't find it in nature, if you can't kill it, extract it from an animal, pick it, drink it in nature, pretty much aka water, or say something like tea, which comes from tea leaves, or coffee, coming from coffee beans, these things that are extracted from plants, okay. These things that are extracted from nature and then processed, not okay. Not at all okay. Sunflower oil and canola oil and safflower oil and grapeseed oil that's processed and all vegetable oil, all that kind of crap is no good, okay? And we've done so many videos as to why, but I just want to give you the big points today. You go for avocado oil, you go for extra virgin olive oil at the top of the list. But those 2 are really the only 2 that are not processed, right? And being cold pressed tells you a lot with extra virgin olive oil, right? They don't have to heat it or add all these things to it for it to be able to be bottled and sold. Bringing us to the next fact, simple fact. For it to be bottled and sold or packaged and sold, what do you think if it has a really long shelf life? You think that's good or bad? They had to probably put some sort of preservative or collection thereof in that food to give it a multi-month shelf life. And the ingredients should be only things you can fully understand, at least know what they are or have heard of them in some natural sense. When you buy peanut butter, you don't buy peanut butter that has anything other than peanuts and sea salt. You don't buy peanut butter with added sugar. You don't buy peanut butter with palm oil. That's a saturated fat they made to make it solid at room temperature and increase the shelf life so they could sell more of it. Well, not to you. They're not going to destroy your health for money. You're not going to do that to yourself. So if you can't find it in nature, look at the ingredients. You should know what they are. If it's a long list, Just don't buy it. Really, almost nothing should have that long of a list. If you get a package of nuts and it says walnuts, Brazil nuts, macadamia, you know what they all are. Different. So you can't say, some things will say, oh, if there's more than 4 ingredients, don't buy it. Well, use your common sense. If you know what it is and you know it's natural, then okay, get it. So where do we live in the grocery store to achieve this principle typically? The perimeter. You live around the perimeter. Where do you find your eggs? Where do you find your meats? Your unprocessed meats, hopefully. Grass-fed, hopefully. Because what do they naturally eat? Those cows. Well, grass, right? Among other things. Why are pasture-raised eggs so much better for us than, traditional, which is an ironic term, in this case especially, traditional feed, with corn feed and stuff like that, and they don't get any sunlight and sit in a cage all day. Why do you think? Well, because pasture-raised, they get about 108 foot ahead. They can go out and they can eat bugs and worms and get in the dirt and eat things from nature. So it's just, don't overthink it. The more I study these things, the more I learn about all these unique chemicals and compounds that we find in these foods that are good for us. Really, the simpler it gets and the less I need to know. It's absolutely amazing. Just drink water, black coffee, black tea. Okay, what about kefir, Shane? You talk about kefir. Well, that's fermented milk. It's extracted from an animal. Okay, and it's fermented. So you don't get those same negative pro-inflammatory reactions that most of us have with dairy, right? What did our ancestors do to find food? We said they walked, people, or sprinted to chase something down. When did they stop doing this? Not for their whole life, pretty much. These people got older and they kept moving. They didn't sit in a chair for 8 hours a day doing shit or smoking cigarettes. Confined tobacco in nature. Well, now you're processing it with heat, whatever, anyway. And there's a ton of chemicals in cigarettes and shit. It's just not good for your lungs to smoke. But that also wasn't, typical traditional practice everywhere you look. How did the Romans eat? They believed 1 meal a day, for the most part, was the best way to do it. They didn't know anything about the nutrition, the science behind it, the biochemistry. They didn't know pathways. But they knew that their students seemed to perform better the next day without food. So why? Shane, if I don't eat tomorrow, I'm going to die, dude. I can't think. What am I going to do? Well, that's because your body is used to, I'm not saying don't eat during the whole day. Your body, but you should combine it to a smaller amount of hours, 8 hours at the least, really. A 16-8 would be ideal. You can eat every 2 hours if you want to be a bodybuilder too, or you could be a bodybuilder intermittent fasting. Right? Boosts your growth hormone, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, reduces your risk for developing neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, vascular dementia. Right? Great for your brain. Fasting promotes autophagy. Phagy means eating. So whatever, scientific name, but we're telling you eating. It eats away all the debris, all the gook in your brain. Brain cells that don't work as well anymore. Brain cells with dysfunctional energy-producing portions of the cell. I'm not going to use the word mitochondria, just did, but don't even need to. The brain gets rid of the gook. It has to clean house. You haven't given it anything. What do you think's going to happen if you don't give your body anything? What's going to happen if you don't give your body anything? And it's hungry. It says, shit, I need to find food. Right, naturally. I need to find food. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll get to you in a second. I need to find food. What do I have to do to find food? I have to be physically capable of finding food because I'm going to chase down that antelope and huck a spear through it. If I have to be physically capable, it makes sense that my growth hormone and testosterone would be boosted, which happens with fasting. What else is going to happen? Can I be dumb? Can I afford to have mental fog? Can I afford to not be paying attention? Of course not. You need to find food. So mentally as well, you will be revamped, if you will. Your body will say, thank you very much, Christina, I appreciate that. And thank you. I love this shit. I just got back from a seafood fest, so it was very fitting. I was fish on it. So it's going to make you mentally more capable. It's going to help you to produce new neurons. It's going to clean house, get rid of all the crap that's not working well. And it's going to produce new things that help you think better. It's going to make you sharper. You're going to be sharp. You're going to be physically capable. How do you want to feel all the time? You can, all you want, you can disregard evolution. This is not a religious discussion. You can disregard how humans have lived in the past. Here's the reality of it. When you look at this time scale through billions of years that the earth has existed, you know how long since the beginning of life, it's like 3.5 billion years ago, whatever, that humans have been around? Well, if it was the calendar of a month, it would be equivalent to like the last 30 seconds of the last minute of the last hour of the last day. Nothing. So we've beaten evolution, if you will, in the worst way. Where now, everything, like we say, is handed to us and processed, and you're told to eat 3 meals a day, and having cereal with added sugar is fine in the morning. But you don't even need to know all the problems of sugar. But you know that you don't find Honey Nut Cheerios in nature. You find grains, so things naturally made of whole grains, but it's a little bit better, right? But try that. Try eating only things you find in nature. What else did our ancestors do? When it got dark, what did they do? They went to sleep. Maybe they did something, but naturally, if it got dark at like 9 o'clock, unless they were feasting from winning a battle or something, or as an occasion, typically, disregarding rituals and things, they would go to bed. They would go to bed. When do you think they woke up? Probably around the time the sun came up, right? So their circadian rhythm was regular. That's your biological clock, your time clock, and your body tells you when you're asleep or when you're awake. Look at all these people with insomnia now, and if you work overnights, well, that's obviously not natural, and you're in a tough position with circadian rhythm, managing it. But they worked during the day, they lived for the day, and they rested at night. And they woke up well rested for the most part, I'm sure. One, there's no toxins, heavy metals. Even the cleaning products we have, if you saw the list of ingredients of the things you touch every day, you'd be freaking shocked if you looked into them. Get all natural ones. Try to get as much, and you can't find that in nature. Well, you're not eating your cleaning products, freaking, unless you're shoe nice, you're a psychopath. But, it's something to be cognizant of with everything you do. Live naturally and simple. So we're going to eat naturally. We're going to move around naturally. They had to exercise to find food. So walk around a lot. What do you think you should do if you work 8 hours a day sitting in a desk? Should you sit there the whole time until lunch? Lunch? It's just like fucking made up. You should move around every now and then, right? You get up, move around. If you didn't have time to move around, Shane, I'm too busy, I have phone calls all day. When you go home, go to the gym. At least go for a walk. Go for a run. How often were these people sitting every day? Even thinking before books. You're probably standing up even to draw those hieroglyphics, right? You weren't sitting often. You were not. And even if you date back just a couple hundred years, they probably just sat for dinner and to read. And that wasn't all that much of the day because they had things to tend to. You're given everything. You buy water by the gallon. Always have a gallon of water. So you should have half your body weight in ounces a day. Okay, at a minimum. But, they were going around, they were spending energy to find food. They had things to take care of. They were tending to the farm if it was agriculture. They were building a chair if they were carpenters. If they were a blacksmith, they were hammering away at a sword or something, they were doing something all day, right? For the most part, at least the healthier of them. So you got to keep that in mind as well. If you can't find it in nature, don't have it. Move around a lot. Exercise every day. Give your body a reason to believe it is still young. They were hunting for about their whole lifetime until these people were so old that they just physically couldn't do it anymore. Maybe their arthritis was so bad. This doesn't mean we disregard modern day medical treatments, right? You do want to be on as few prescription medications as possible, obviously, but it doesn't mean we disregard getting a surgery if we absolutely need it, taking, metformin or insulin if you have diabetes. You should have adjusted your lifestyle first, and then you wouldn't even freaking need them. But there are times where allopathic medicine, it definitely comes to save us, and I think allopathic medicine is a lot like police more on the topic. You say you hate it, you say you don't like them, until you have a deadly disease that there's a cure for. So, I'm a chiropractor. I'm all natural, everything, that's it first. But everything has its place. And every medical, healthcare profession is just a piece of the pie. Your piece is to be natural and to think in your head, without knowing any science, what would my ancestors be doing right now? What would they have woke up and done today? They would maybe have their feet exposed to the ground sometimes. Maybe they would be walking barefoot in the grass. And we talk about earthing and grounding being so good for you. That constant negative electric potential, that current flowing through Earth's crust. There's actually decent research behind grounding. Reducing oxidative stress, inflammation, sympathetic nervous system overstimulation, which is fight or flight, right? You being relaxed. Well, you're one with nature. That's where we came from. All from one giant supernova, right? We are stars, as you could say. We're not. We're us, right? I think it's funny to go to the extremes of everything. But, think of what they would do. Very simple. They were walking around. They had time to themselves, Maybe and we talk about mindfulness techniques like deep breathing and meditation and yoga. Well, one, there weren't as many people around, right? So they definitely had a lot more alone time just in that regard, right? There were less people around them. Maybe they had larger lots of land on average and things like that. But you need that for yourself. You need all these things for yourself. Well, you don't need them because nobody ever needs anything except for eventually food, air, sleep, water. But you do deserve that. You do deserve to live naturally and to do everything you possibly can for yourself. So that's our simple message of the day, you guys. I hope it was helpful. I hope you actually act on it. And, I want you to think of nature when you think, why can't I fall asleep all the time when I'm on my phone all night before bed? They didn't do that. Blue light. Your brain thinks like it did evolutionarily many years ago. I know it's adapted in many regards, right? It's always adapting. But there are some core pathways and principles that haven't been disregarded evolutionarily. And if it thinks it's sunlight, blue light, then maybe it's going to be harder to fall asleep, right? So that is what we got for you guys today. Let's see what we got in here. Say hi to the people, and then we're going to say happy birthday, Joel Polanco. Mano Salva, how you doing? Johnny Sunflower. Hot since 89. Malcolm, what's up, my man? MRQ Love. Eddie, what's going on? What's happening? Kyle, Bob Morgan. Art. Tanner, 01 Ranger. How you doing? Josh Winter, 87. Christina Marie. Thank you so much, dear. You're such a sweetheart. Derek Jones, what's happening? Keenan Law. 22 Solale, how you doing? Claudio Favere, what's up, my friend? Foward, IFBB Pro. Tony M parties, he parties. It's behind, been on here a lot, love it. Raven Lifts, we've seen you. They're all Samai. They're all Sammy. They're all Sammy. Matthew Benjamin, what's up? Thank you, sir. Virgo Android. Sebas S. Daniels, what up, Sebas? Matthew Benjamin, what's happening? Joe Throws. Maggie Bex, what up, Meg? Saw you yesterday, girl. Hope you had a good day today. DX Alardo, Stephanie XO, Margie Bear, my baby, I love you. I see you on here. Talk to you soon. Juliana, what's happening? Justice Joseph Design, DGNYC 76, Caliente Tortuga, how you doing? And Cowpost 1978. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, you send me a message. If there's any particular topic you would like to talk about, I would love to put it on the long list of requests that we have. But it's always a pleasure, right? So, before we go, happy birthday, Joel Polanco. Happy birthday, man. Joel, when I think of you, I think of a guy that is inspirational today. And you know what's interesting with everything you post, everything you do, strive, right? I'm really thinking from my heart. And I think you always have had that about you. You know, when I met you at Stony Brook and you know, we played rugby, you always had this like upbeat, somebody could almost have taken it for something like out there, how you were. But by out there, you were in there. If that makes sense. You were very in tune with yourself and what was around you and are, you know, still to this day. I haven't seen you in a little bit. I got to see you soon. But, you know, I see you're doing great things. I see you're growing and growing. You're putting out great music. Check them out. Strive. Joel Polanco. And you're working hard for yourself, man. And when you played rugby, you know, I'm glad I got to meet you. It may not have been your primary focus, whatever reason you did it. You didn't seem that angry, so I don't think it was to just crack some skulls, which was the case for a lot of guys. Naturally, those people gravitate towards it. But I think you just wanted to get into something new, try something new, have fun. I think you played football before that, you know. But it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend, every time I've hung out with you. Bro, I think of the time in Rothquad where you were rapping on stage and everybody's going nuts and we were all blasted and stole a shopping cart. Roth Regatta. I actually got in trouble for that. That was a lot of fun, man. And shit, we should have another time like that soon. Let's go steal a shopping cart. No, let's not do that and get arrested. We're too old now, but we're never too old to keep doing what we love and to keep taking care of ourselves as we deserve. And it seems like you're doing that, my friend. So happy birthday. This one's for you. It's forever your day in the book of Wellness. I hope you enjoyed it. Brandon, what's up? Berlin Bad, coming to you from Berlin, I would hope. Ethan, what's going on, my friend? Ethan Brightman. W Tang, hello, my friend. Have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night. That's all we got for you. We will absolutely see you tomorrow. Happy Wellness. Thank you. W Tang, all right. Thank you. We'll see you then. Ciao.